start the program off by saying you helped organize a mock debate and then mock election, a mock debate in the AP Government class and a school-wide mock election with the help of Mr. Murphy.
Yep.
And I was wondering how that went.
Well, it went great. I figured to get the students ready for the election so that they could understand what was happening. We would start with like debate simulations. A lot of the students, actually all my classes, what they did the same kind of debate that we did in AP. Then after that, the students looked into the members of Congress that were running, also looked at the governors, the candidates for the governor that were running. We did yet another debate in the other government class just to get everybody ready for this mock election. And the JFK Library runs this in Boston, Mass. And so statewide, all students participated in the mock election. I also allowed anybody that wanted to vote in this mock election, even middle school students, although I don't think any middle schoolers did vote in our mock election. But it was opened up to anybody who wanted to vote, and I believe we got 30 to 40% of the student population that voted, about that.
On an off year, that's actually quite a that's a good percentage.
That is good. That is good. But I think this year, the way things have been in the country, it's been very contentious. There's been a lot of negativity. People are fearful about the economy, where we're going as a country. So I think this is really getting people riled up and wanting to get out there and vote. So it wouldn't surprise me that we probably have higher numbers just in the country as well, as far as people getting out there. I hope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I want to move it along from the mock election to the real election we have going on tonight. You were instrumental in bringing about this live election night coverage as well by sending students out to polling stations and helping out here tonight. Can you explain for us a little bit how this worked?
Well, students in my AP Government class, and actually any other students that wanted to volunteer, but mostly the AP class, many of them volunteered to go to the 4 towns, and starting at 9 o'clock in the morning, and they did 2 or 4 hour shifts and would just ask people coming out after they were voting if they wanted to participate in an exit poll. And it sounds like, from the information that I've received so far, that an awful lot of people did. Particularly in Whately, I found out, and also in Deerfield. I'm not too sure about the other 2 towns, but at least that's what I've heard. And I think we got an awful lot of polling results, and I'm hoping to hear that that's the case.
Well, I hope we get comprehensive numbers here, because we're going to have a slideshow with a lot of those numbers coming up very shortly. And I know, looking at some of the results already, there were some very interesting numbers that I'm sure we're going to get into and talking about. But with the students so involved in the process, why is that important to you, to get students so involved instead of running it with older, more experienced people who might be a little bit less mistake prone, a little bit more experienced, they might know more about the political process? Why is it important that students are running this and students are so involved?
Well, I think having students actually do this, they become part of the process. And I also visited each of the sites this morning, and the students were really, really excited because they really felt like they were a part of it. Some of the students were old enough to vote, most are not, but many were. And they got to hear like what their townspeople had to say about the issues, how they really felt about things. They got to see some of the neighbors. A lot of the students got things to eat from the townspeople. They would bring pies, and I brought around some Dunkin' Munchkins. But I think being part of that would make one want to be part of it again in reality and actually go out and vote. And also seeing how many people, especially in Deerfield, I know it's an awful lot of people at the polling place. And I think it makes it less scary for students. I feel like voting is, it's one of those things that once you turn 18, it's not explained to you necessarily right away. And my view is that that kind of thing should happen in a government class, and every school should have a civics class so students know how to do it. The questions in the ballots can be very confusing, so people say, oh, I'm not going to bother doing it. But our students here at Frontier now have a good idea of how it all works. So it's not so scary, it's not that hard to do, and it's fun, and it doesn't take long.
Excellent. I'm proud to say that I voted for the first time ever today.
Yay, Matt.
And so I was very excited to do that.
Yep.
And as a exit poll taker, definitely seeing all of the people going in and out of the polling station and really experiencing all the emotions that were going on there with the people and their ideas and beliefs all showing up to that one place, that really helped me kind of experience democracy firsthand in a way that it's hard in the classroom just to you open your textbook and you can read about it and you can see a chart, but it's just talking about it, actually being there. That's really an important educational experience for them. But is there anything you would kind of like to add, like about how the students did or how the process worked that you might want to change in the future, or like that you hope to expand upon?
I have to say that the Frontier students were great, and it was great having you all out there, and I thank you for being here like all day long and really being a part of this. And every site that I visited, the students were really excited. They were very happy just to be there and just to talk to townspeople that they knew, and it went great. I was concerned that maybe the students would I don't know, feel like they didn't want to be there anymore, or they were bored, but they weren't, and it seemed very exciting to them. I suppose in the future what I would like to see happen, and I know this can happen, is just to get more students involved, not just advanced placement government, but other students as well, anybody who wants to get involved. And I think as time goes on and we do this more and more, students that were involved, you can talk to others and say, this was a fun thing to do, because you're really right out there and seeing it happen, seeing democracy happen. So I feel pretty positive that we'll get more people later.
Okay. Well, we're going to take a look at some of that data that you and your students collected. And over with that, we have put it all in an Excel file, and we have our little data meister. Tina has been working hard and creating some pie charts for you all to look at, and I think you guys are gonna enjoy it. And so I'd like to thank you very much for
Matt.
helping organize this whole event. And without further ado,